Information. Information, shortened as info or info, is that which informs an answer to a question, as well as that from which knowledge and data can be derived. As data represents values attributed to parameters, and knowledge signifies understanding of real things or abstract concepts. As it regards data, the information's existence is not necessarily coupled to an observer. It exists beyond an event horizon, for example, while in the case of knowledge, the information requires a cognitive observer. As its most fundamental, information is any propagation of cause and effect within a system. Information is conveyed either as the content of a message or through direct or indirect observation of something. That which is perceived can be construed as a message in its own right and in that sense. Information is always conveyed as the content of a message. Information can be encoded into various forms for transmission and interpretation. For example, information may be encoded into signs and transmitted via signals. It can also be encrypted for safe storage and communication. Information resolves uncertainty. The uncertainty of an event is measured by its probability of occurrence and is inversely proportional to that, according to the encyclopedia. The more uncertain an event, the more information is required to resolve uncertainty of that event. The bit is a typical unit of information, but other units, such as the NAT, may be used. Example: information is one fair coin flip, logarithm squared 2 over 1 equals 1 bit. And in two fair coin flips is logarithm 4 over 1 equal 2 bits. I'm not sure about that. The concept that information is the message has different meanings in different contexts. Thus, the concept of information becomes closely related to notions of constraint, communication, control, data, form, education, knowledge, meaning, understanding, mental stimuli, pattern, perception, representation, and entropy. Read about the epistemology, information theory approach as sensory input, as representation and complexity. The cognitive scientist and applied mathematician Vigo argues that information is a concept that involves at least two related entities in order to make quantitative sense. As an influence which leads to a transformation. Information is any type of pattern that influences the formation or transformation of other patterns. For example, DNA. Systems theory at times seems to refer to information in this sense, assuming information does not necessarily involve any conscious mind, and patterns circulating in the system can be called information. Complex definitions of both information and knowledge make such semantic and logical analysis difficult, and the condition of transformation is an important point in the study of information as it relates to knowledge, especially in the business discipline of knowledge management. In this practice, tools and processes are used to assist a knowledge worker in performing research and making decisions, including steps such as reviewing information in order to effectively derive value and meaning, referencing metadata if any is available, establishing a relevant context, often selecting from many possible contexts, deriving new knowledge from the information, making decisions or recommendations from the resulting knowledge. As a property in physics, information has a well-defined meaning in physics. The mathematical universe hypothesis suggests a new paradigm in which virtually everything, from particles and fields through biological entities and consciousness to a multiverse itself, could be described by mathematical patterns of information. The application of information study. The information cycle is of great concern to information technology, information systems, as well as information science. These fields deal with those processes and techniques pertaining to information capture through sensors and generation through computation, processing, including encoding, encryption, compression, packaging, transmission, including all telecommunication methods, presentation, including visualization, display methods, storage, including magnetic, optical, holographic methods. Information does not cease to exist. It may only get scrambled beyond any possibility of retrieval within information theory. Lossy compression, for example, while in physics, the black hole information paradox gets solved with the aid of the holographic principle. Information visualization depends on the computation digital representation of data and assists users in pattern recognition and anomaly detection. Information security is the ongoing process of exercise due diligence to protect information and information systems from unauthorized access, use, disclosure, destruction, modification, disruption, or distribution through algorithms and procedures focused on monitoring and detection, as well as incident response and repair. Information analysis is the process of inspecting, transforming, and modeling information by converting raw data into actionable knowledge in support of the decision-making process. Information communication represents the convergence of informatics, telecommunication, and audiovisual media and content. Read about technologically mediated information. Read about records, semiotics, pragmatics, semantics, syntax. Read also about abstraction, accuracy and precision, classified information, complexity, complex adaptive system, complex system, cybernetics, data storage, X-formation, free information infrastructure, freedom of information, information communication technologies, information architecture, information broker, information continuum, information entropy, information geometry, information inequity, information infrastructure, information management, information mapping, information overload, information processing, information processor, information sensitivity, information superhighway, information systems, information theory, infosphere, library science, philosophy of information, prediction, propaganda model, quantum information, receiver operating characteristic, relevance, satisficing. Read all about information, information, information.